Hi, this is Vitaly from Builderius. In this video we are going to review GraphQL inside Builderius Site Builder. We will be moving step by step from the most basic examples of writing GraphQL query to the most advanced probably. So I'm going to explain you some techniques and possibilities of the GraphQL, and also we will be talking about the differences between implementations of GraphQL inside Builderius and also inside the plugin that is called WP GraphQL. So there are some differences. Let's open some template. I have one here. It's a single post that I was creating last time in the previous videos. So here I have several applicants. If you remember what it is, it's just specific posts. In this case, they are posts which are applied and using this template. So first of all, I can use GraphQL inside data-var with type GraphQL. Data-vars in general can be set inside template settings or global settings. In this example, I will be using with template settings, data variables. I open the modal window with data variables. Here I have. This is the modal window with one data variable created, and its type actually GraphQL query. The data, dynamic data from after applying this query is used on this page. This title, this image, this is featured image. There is also date here, right? All this data come from database through this query. Let me remove it completely, like everything, so we can start from the scratch. The very first method I should write every time is query. This is how. Then I instantly have after suggestion with many fields available. So these fields, they are available in the root element of query. Different methods has its own set of methods available inside their scope. For instance, if I choose queried post, this method, here I have different available methods like IDE or meta value or post author, post date, etc. So actually this actually hints what is queried post object, what it can give me. I mean, what type of dynamic data, right? So and this is the first difference between our implementation of GraphQL and that plugin that I mentioned before, WP GraphQL. We have different sets of methods. So for instance, this queried post method is available only in Builderius. It's not available in that plugin, and you cannot use such method there. But I must emphasize that the mechanics, the syntax of queries are completely the same. So we use here curly braces, and so the implementation of GraphQL in that plugin also uses curly braces. Here I have the root method query, and in that plugin the same method is available. So now let's review the specific example As I mentioned before, queried post method returns the current object. In this case, this is the post and its data. So besides the writing the method itself, I have to specify which exactly fields I would like to return from that object, because obviously I don't need anything. Everything, sorry. I don't need, maybe in some specific templates I need like post format, but most likely I don't, right? I don't need post type, most likely I don't, but sometimes I need it. Let's write something very simple like post title. I really like this autocomplete suggestions. It suggests me those methods which are available under this object, the object that is returned by queried post method. In this case I need post title, and then I would like to get also post date. Now there is no any errors here. There is no underlined in red methods or something like this, nothing. So I can actually try this query right now. For this I have to click on this button, apply changes, dynamic variables updated, okay, and then I can click on this open query results kind of button, and I see here the exactly dynamic data that is returned from my query. So I have post title, which is this strange Latin title, I don't know, but it's the same as applicant, so it's true that data. And then we have a post date, so it was created almost 2 months ago. Okay, then this is the time to introduce you aliases. So it's very important and useful technique of when you write GraphQL queries, you probably will be using aliases a lot. So first of all, why we use aliases? The first reason is that I would like to make this names of these keys shorter, because later, in order to use this dynamic data, I have to write all these things, all these names inside my modules. So I would like to avoid long names. I would like to use shorter names. So for this I use alias. For instance, instead of post underscore title, I can use just title, like this. Instead of post underscore date, I can use just date, like this. Then I can I click on apply changes to verify what it returns, and now you see I have just a title here, not post underscore title. It's much shorter. This was the first advantage of using alias, and there is another one. So for instance, of course I can use like post title once and then post title the second time. Actually it will be the third time already, but what if I duplicate this method once more time? So we see that I have 4 of them. Let's try how it works. So, and instead of 3 post title, I see only 1. So I had 3 the same, post title, 3 methods, this, and instead I have only 1. However, when I use alias, I also have 1. So if for some reason I need post titles in many variables, I can just assign aliases for them like this, So you see the syntax is very simple. It's just some name, it must be unique, and then semicolon, space, and then method. That's it. Let's try again, apply changes, and here I have all my titles. Of course, in case of titles, it's not very useful, because why do I need 4 times the same value? But in case of fetching some metadata, and we will have such example a bit later, you will see that using aliases, it's just like must have in those cases. So for now, I'm going to delete these duplicates. I have my title, I have my date. By the way, as you see, by using alias date, my date has been returned here. Actually, there is also title. It's just colored in white. And this is because, as I said before, in order to use my dynamic data in Builderius, I have to write the path for this dynamic data, and this is starts from the name of data var, which is singular, and then like a chained name with all these names, like accessing object in JavaScript. It's basically the same, because I'm using JSON object. So here I have queried post and title. When my query was not using alias title, but just method post title instead, such template tag returns nothing. In case I'm using alias title, this template tag works perfectly well. It returns data because I actually have it. Again, dynamic data, singular, queried post, title here. So this is why I see this title. When here was post title, I couldn't see any title here, and I had to modify this template tag or use the new one, something like that. Okay, so let's go back to the template settings, data variables, and my model. I'm going to make it a bit bigger, like this. So this was the first example. This should be also the image, my featured image from the post. So I'm going to add it. For this, I have a method featured image, and then basically I can get many data like alt text, caption, description, etc. But what I really need for this example is file URL. Okay, click apply changes, and here we go. Sorry, this window is very big. I'm just put it here, so you see there is a image in the background. Let's make it like this, and then just to clarify, by default, without any arguments, this method featured image returns the original image, and then obviously it returns the URL to original image. But in this case, this method specifically has arguments. Arguments can be added inside the parentheses, and then there is always suggestion. Suggestion about names of the arguments which can be used. In this case, it should be size, but it does not suggest me anything. So let's try again. Maybe I'm missing something. Featured image. Okay, like this. Expected name found. Okay, maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it should be argument for file URL. No. Let me check. There must be something that I overlooked. Actually, I was right. There should be arguments. When I wrote parentheses, there are there are two suggestions. So in this case I need size, and then I'm just going to use like I don't know, thumbnail. Let's try apply changes, and then it's very pixelated image because it's really like small size, but then it's used in the very wide container. So this is how it looks like this. So just going I'm going to write here at least large. Let's try. Yes, now it's much better, but let's remove all the reference to the size and click again. Probably the same, but I think it's a little bit better because this is the original size. So this is how it works. Again, just to recap, what we have just learned is that some methods, not all but some of them, many of them I would say, has a possibility to set arguments. Let's check another example. What I need more data, which data I need for this post, specifically for this template, I would say, is author. So I start typing with alias, and then I write post author like this. Here I have also auto complete suggestions for my method post author. There is different set of methods available inside this object. What I need here is not nickname, but display name. This should be like this, display name. And then I also would like to get avatar URL like this. Okay, so this method, a post author, has this set. Another method like categories, for instance, it has different set of methods available. For instance, it has name, and then let's choose slug name, and these are fields. Okay, some clarification here. Previously we were talking about one object, like queried post, it's just one object, and I get its title and date. Then author is also only one object because we have only one author for this post. In case of categories, tags, and other taxonomies, this method, specifically categories or taxonomy method or tags method, returns array, not object. So these keys, name and slug, are chosen and will be returned for each object under categories. So let's try how it works. Here I have array of categories because post can have more than one category. In this specific case, this post has only one category, and its category named press releases with the slug uncategorized. So this is the term name and term slug on the taxonomy, standard taxonomy category. This is how it works. So what I want to emphasize here is some methods return object like this or like this. Some other methods return arrays like this method. And it returns key categories and the value, which is array. Let's move further and let's review some more advanced example and a very important method that is called PHP function output. and it's a very powerful method. It basically allows us to execute any PHP function. For instance, we have just reviewed this method categories that returns array of terms attached to this post, right? We have only one term, and what if I need the link to this term? Because basically when I try to search here, there is no link. Like I try to type URL and expect some suggestion, but no URL here. Okay, then maybe something like GUID. No. It happens because this method, they return the objects which are inherit real object from the WordPress. In this case, these methods like name and slug are keys under WP term object. So let's check the documentation of WordPress. Here we have class WP term that returns the object that we just discussed. And the thing is, there is many properties like term id, also name that we just fetched like this. There is also slug, and we returned it as well, but this object has no property or method that returns link, nothing like this. So in order to get the URL link to the page of this term, I would have to use PHP function getTermLink. Of course, if I use PHP, but I'm using GraphQL, and to do this I have to use a special method that it's called PHP function output, like this. I would like to make this window wider because I really need it. So there are several arguments here. First of all, for this method I have argument function. Here I have to specify the name of the PHP function, the exact name that will be executed. In my case it is getTermLink, like this. Again, we check in the WordPress docs, this is the name of the function. And then, okay, let's go back to this page of docs. Then I have this function. This function has two arguments. The first one is a term, which should be object or integer or string, in case, well, we use integer for term ID or string for slug. GraphQL does not return objects like named objects. It returns only standard object like std. So using WP term is not option for me. I will be using integer or string from ID or slug of the term. And then another argument, the second argument, is the name of the taxonomy. So I actually know it, it's not a problem. Let's go back to my template. So I have, I should write comma, and then arguments, and then inside the brackets I write places for two arguments. Okay, so I have to specify my arguments in the exactly same order as I see in the documentation. So first should be ID or slug, and then the name of the taxonomy. The name of the taxonomy is category, I know it, and then have to specify slug or ID here. So basically I return slug for each term, but have to put it here and use inside this getTermLink function. And now I'm going to introduce you the second, if I'm not mistaken, second difference between our implementation of GraphQL and implementation of plugin WP GraphQL. So we have this invention. We can use variables here, but these variables are different from WP GraphQL, from standard implementation. Okay, so we have here in Builderius we have two types of variables. We can use two types of variables inside a GraphQL query. The first type is global, the second type is local, very much like we have it inside the template itself. If you remember, the global variable should be declared inside brackets like this, and then I just write here var name like this. For local variable, instead of brackets, I use curly braces like this. Sorry, it's too much. I need only 3 opening and 3 closing. So again, and then what the specific is that I actually can use this name or this name, the key, the name of the key as local variable. This is why it's called local. It's local for this scope. I cannot use avatar URL because avatar URL variable lives in another scope, in this. Here I have the different scope. I have this scope, so I can use only these variables. In case I'm using slug like this, I use the slug name. So let's try. I should write s here, and actually I'm expect that under the hood, during the execution of this query, the slug name referenced by the name of the variable s will be used as the argument, the first argument for getTermLink. Let's try how it works. And here I have my alias s, and then the URL to the page of this term, the specific category. So let's just, as we see it works, let's just modify it a bit. So I actually don't like to use alias here, I don't need it. I would like to use the full variable name here, slug, and then instead of this name PHP function output that I get by default as a key name here, I would like to use something shorter like link, like this. And then again apply changes. This action updates my dynamic data. And here I have name, slug, and short link, which is the same URL. Okay, so it works very, very good. Now there is more than that. There is another difference between our implementation and implementation of WP GraphQL. We have a very specific argument that we can attach for probably all methods available, which is called private. And then there is Boolean value, so it should be true or false. In this case I would use true. What it does? This way, by using argument private on the specific method, I'm hiding output of this method in the final JSON. So in case I'm not going to display slug anywhere in the template, I really don't need it inside my dynamic variable, right? I don't need it to be available here, because why I need it here? I'm not using it on the template. I just would like to make it more clear. I like to kind of remove pollution of this unnecessary data. So I don't need slug here. I need slug only in execution of this function getTermLink, but in the template I don't need slug. This is why I use argument private, and this is how it works. I click apply changes, and then let's check query results. You see, now I have only name and link in the final result. Link is the same link as I saw it before. It's a correct link to the term, or to the page of this term. Everything works, but now I don't have slug here in the final JSON output, simply because I don't use it inside the template anymore. I mean, besides this query, specific query, so I don't need it inside my dynamic data. I don't need I just try to remove distraction, you know. So this is also the big difference between our implementation and the standard implementation. In the standard implementation, there is no such argument private. This is our addition. Okay, this example was already very much advanced, but I have even more advanced example, and I'm just going to show you how to get post-related data inside this query. So it would be quite easy. Just follow me. So what I need is some help of additional declaring additional method. So first of all, I'm using alias like this, because I'm going to use getCategories method once again, but this time I would like to use term ID. So what I get here is the array of ID used of terms, of course, under taxonomy, standard taxonomy category, which are attached to this post. Then inside the categories, well, actually I would like to create a new key that will be called maybe cut terms. Array, maybe like this, and then this is alias, and then I would like to use the new method expression result. Very similar to PHP function output method, this method expression result is unique to our implementation. So inside this method I'm going to write argument expression, and here will be expression, and I will explain everything soon. So what I need more is the next method that will be called related posts. So actually this should be more correct name, array of terms IDs, like this. This new method related post, this alias, will have values of array of posts, related posts. So here I have method posts. I'm using this method, and then basically posts is very similar to the standard implementation. It's equal to using WP query class in PHP when you just query in post with custom arguments. You can query anything, right? So here I can do the same, and I have argument query, and then in the format of object I have to specify my query. It has the same arguments that WP query class has. Just to clarify, WP query class, this one. So in case we need any help, we always can go to the documentation of the WordPress, and all these parameters are available inside my method. I can use them. In this case I would need tags query for sure, because I will be querying related post by category that is attached for this current post, right? So I'm using tags query, and then I'm specifying arguments for this tags query. If I'm not mistaken, that should be the data, like, yeah, exactly, taxonomy. I would like to specify this is taxonomy that is called category, and then specific terms, which should be array of terms ID. So in this case this will be a local variable, this one, and then okay, so I just one thought struck me just now. So maybe I gave you some a bit misleading information. I told previously, I told you that local variable are those which live inside the specific scope, like this, something like this. But actually it's not the case. These variables can be it's not all the truths, let's say. Let's paraphrase this. We can use variables which are on the same level as our parent one. So in this case I can use this one. This one, no, not term it, but this, yes. This is how it works. It's a small addition, okay, small but important. And then I have tags query, array, and then there are a lot of brackets and curly braces, and I just have to handle them. There is some error because I see this red line, so let's hover over and read. So must have a selection of subfields. It means that I did not specify which fields this method post should return, which fields exactly I would like to return. So here where it ends, you see this brackets, they ends here and starts here. So after that we write curly braces, and then I will be choosing nodes, and then I need only post title. So this will be enough. So nodes is array of posts returned by this custom query posts, and then from all the fields I need only post title. This is how it translates. I just translated you this query. Okay, now let's click on apply changes. It will not work, but at least we will see some nuances here. So what we have is we have cut terms IDs that returns array, but this array not only term IDs actually, but these objects. Here there should be only array, not this object. I have to transform this object into just array of integer values, but it's empty now because it's not ready. And then my custom query, obviously it returns nothing because it's not complete. I do not provide the actual data. So let's fix this query. Here I have get terms IDs, okay, and then I have to fix this. I have to write some expression here that will transform this array into array of just integer values. So I have to actually write it like this. It's really advanced example. Then I write method for each. Then I write the variable that will be looped, and then I write what exactly I would like to get at the end. So it should be like this, I guess. So let me clarify how it works. So first of all, expression result. This, as I said, this is a very new method, and it's unique for implementation inside the Builderius, just like PHP function output. But expression result, what it does, it executes some expression that I specify here inside the argument called expression. This is what it does. And then the benefit of using it here is that I can use local variable cut terms IDs that is declared here. So this is why it's important to me to execute this expression at this point of time. And then value of this key will be used here. You can read more about these methods inside our documentation. We have for GraphQL we have settings, data variables, query to debug GraphQL here, and there is an overview, and then there are many examples. How to use to get data about navigation menus, from options, posts and pages, terms and taxonomies, users, data about users. Then there is also this PHP function output, a special method. It's explained here with examples. There are a lot of information. I would suggest you to check it. And then there is also explanation for expression result method. It's also this page also has a lot of examples. And then if you still confused with this expression and what expressions are in general, this is all explained here in the documentation under the section expression language. There is also overview, what it is and what it does. This seems to, okay, we have this image, okay. Then there is a reference to all built-in functions, and in this case we have just used functions for each, which works the same as a PHP function for each. We have many functions here, and most of them replicate those are available in PHP or JavaScript. So expression language function works the same inside PHP and JavaScript. There is a documentation about arguments available with examples how exactly it works. We have many such. This is deprecated. Okay, string functions, count, escape. There is a lot of functions, and you can make many transformations. So let's go back to our query. We have expression result method with this expression that takes array of objects and transforms it to the array of integers, and then this variable is used here. So let's try how it works. Let's click apply changes and open results. Here we go. We have this not transformed array, and then we have this transformed array by using our expression, and then we have output of custom query that returns all the posts under the same category. So this is how it works. I just showed you the power of the query language implementation inside the Builderius. So we can also do the trick with hiding unnecessary variables, unnecessary in template. I mean, I'm not going to use it inside the template. So here, for the method expression result, I can write private true, and also here for categories I also can write private true, and then let's see the difference. I have this data, so basically I have this information, and then I click apply changes, and now I don't have it, but still I have my result, the same result from the custom query. So less destruction here, but the same goal is achieved. Okay, so this is why, once again, this is why I'm using argument private. This is what it is for. And then there is also specific integrations with ACF and MetaBox. Those methods are prefixed with the name of the plugin, like MetaBox or ACF, Advanced Custom Fields. And this specific methods works best with some interesting types of fields. Like in this case, I will be reviewing ACF integration because I already has installed this plugin, and I have created two custom fields. This color picker field and repeater field. And so let's check how to get this data, right? So here I write ACF. I will be fetching the first field value, which is title color, this name title color. It's color picker, but since its value is just a string, I can use kind of generic method ACF value like this, and then I have to specify name, which is again exactly this name, title color. It's very similar to what we do in PHP when we want to get the data from meta fields, right? Here I have okay, click apply changes and then open the results, and I have ACF value is this color code. Okay, very nice. Let's go back and query another field. In this case it will be ACF repeater value. In this case I'm using this method, this specific method, because I'm sorry, not at this tab, because the second field is repeater, so I would like to get a better value, not just simple like in the first example. It's a array. The value of this field is array of posts, because the child field is post objects. So I actually have to specify the name here, and it will be related posts, and then inside the curly braces for this method I have to specify exactly which fields I would like to get. So as I told you before, this repeater field has post objects, but I don't need the whole post, I need just specific info. So for instance, I would like to get okay, it does not give me any suggestions because expected name found this. So probably let's check selection of subfields. Did you mean ACF repeater value like this? Yes, I meant exactly that. Okay, I get it. So some clarification, I just forgot to mention this. So once again, we have repeater field with a child field with that is post object. So I have to, if I want to return the actually post object, I have to use exactly this method, ACF post object value, this, inside my ACF repeater value. This is how it works. If there was another field like color picker, something very simple, I could use also method ACF value like this. So, but this is not the case, so I will delete it. And then inside of post object value, I can specify which exactly information I would like. Okay, it gives me error once again because let me fix this. So probably I missed the argument. Okay, I have to specify the name of this field as well. This name is post. This is the name of child field. I have to put post, and then now I can get the info I need, like ID and post title, probably here like this. I think this is it. So we have ACF repeater field value that can be fetched like this. And let's try apply changes and check the results. This ACF repeater value is empty, but this is because this specific post does not have any post attached. Let's choose another applicant. No. Again, no. We see that many dynamic data has been changed, but not this repeater value. And okay, I should investigate it. So after quick check, it looks like there is really no values for this field. So our query is okay, but there is no actual values for the inside the post. So let's check if this is the case. Let me find this post and attach some values for this field. So let's go here and open this post and check what we have related posts. Okay, and then let's add at least 3. This one, and probably this one, update. And then let's go back here and click apply changes again. This is the wrong post. Let's switch to this one. Here we go. Our ACF repeater value field, and then we have the array of these objects. And then again we can use aliases here just to simplify the output. We can put related here and p here, apply changes, and then we have related here and much shorter key here. So basically today we discussed a lot of methods, probably 90% of available, and then we have reviewed the specifics and unique methods like expression result and PHP function, and then we discussed how they work, reviewed some nuances, etc. I hope now you get better understanding of how it works in generally, these GraphQL queries, and I hope you eager to try it by yourself.